and they're working, right, to survive here in New York
You
City.
need two incomes.
At the end of the day, the child is the one that ends up not fully being able to do the work that is required for them. But it goes back to, it takes a village. It takes people that are willing to say, I care, to be compassionate, to have some type of act of service, to say, you know what, I want to help. How can I help? You know?
Absolutely. And that's super important to create these type of resources, because a lot of times people are working and they're still not making it.
Right. And then what happens is, especially in the home where both parents have to work to make ends meet, is when unfortunately the child is left to fend for himself. And at the end of the day, a child is a child, so he can only teach himself but so much, and he does the best that he or she can. But then that's when it falls into the child doesn't have an equal playing field. And then it leads to other things, because now the kid goes to school and he's not confident and is embarrassed, and it may fall behind, and then you have the kids that are maybe a little bit more above, and then all of a sudden now this is the kid you're picking on. And it just, opens up a whole other can of worms, and it just keeps snowballing. And then that's why we also realize this is when you take the time to get to know the child. Because sometimes you might see a child is acting out for whatever reason, but there's a root reason why this child is acting out. And most of the times, or a lot of times, it could just be, I'm fending for myself, so I'm a little bit, insecure, because I know that I don't know everything that everybody else knows. So we were both blessed and had the privilege to have parents and or mentors to help us in certain areas in our lives. But unfortunately, in today's day and age, not every kid has that privilege.
No.
So this is where Diakonia Movement says, okay, let's find some like-minded people that are willing to work with us to be able to work with these children, to now have that privilege of mentorship, leadership, resources, reading, writing, and give that child an opportunity to build up their confidence, and now be able to go to school with a head up high, pick up their reading grades, their writing skills, and that's a positive snowball effect as opposed to the negative snowball.
The negative one that goes the opposite direction. Well, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. So the Diakonia Movement has been doing a lot of great things. Definitely there's a buzz in the community about it in such a positive way, because you're doing something great for the people. So many people could actually benefit from this, in the sense that, you're offering stuff for children. You're offering stuff, resources for parents. What would you really like the viewers to take away about Diakonia?
Well, that Diakonia Movement, we really want to make servanthood and compassion contagious. We want it to be that it's not just a movement that dies out, but we want it to be a movement that ends up becoming an international thing. We want it to be that people start to actually capture that passion of all the needs that are needed in various communities, from adult to children, which is why one of the things that we're actually launching in the fall, we're doing what was formerly known as ESL, English as a second language. We're actually launching these programs in various communities. So it's English, ELL, which is English learning language. Sorry. But the reason why we're doing is because we were starting to sit there and we were starting to kind of get aggravated when we would watch the news and see various situations when it concerns immigrants. And because we come from a background of immigrant parents, we said, what can we do to help? whether it's big or small, what can we do that could help? And so we said, you know what? Why don't we start a program where we're teaching immigrants that just came into the country, basic English language, and then from there create the workshops within that time frame to help them to either get into the process of citizenship, as well as how to conduct yourself for interviews, so that they can move on to better things. My mother, when she first came here, she was an elementary school teacher in Haiti. But as some people will know, once you come into a new country, you start right back to the basics. And she shared a story with me about how she wanted more. She was working in a warehouse. It wasn't paying her enough, and she wanted to just do more. And so she ended up in an interview for a hospital, and the manager really liked her, but they couldn't really get through a full conversation in English. And so the hiring manager said to her, I really like you, but I need you to speak a little bit more English. We're willing to train you as a nurse's assistant, but we would really need for you to learn more English. I'm going to give you 30 days, and I'm asking you to ask your friends and your family to help you to be able to hold a conversation. And if you could do that, I will give you a job.
Wow.
And so what ended up happening, my mother, she shared it with me. She said, I went home, I asked everyone to speak to me in English, I was asking questions because I really wanted this job. And in the end, she ended up getting the job. She ended up becoming, a registered nurse down the line. But this was all because someone gave a chance. And so we are launching an English learners language program starting this fall. And we're not only doing it for adults, but we're doing it for children as well.
That's amazing. That is really, really great. And, a lot of times when you're a child of immigrants, especially first generation, your parents, they didn't go to school here. So they don't know the school system. So they're doing it the first time that you're doing it. So mommy's looking at the kid and we're like, I don't know either, And I remember going through that struggle, but even though there wasn't the language barrier, there's still that English Caribbean islands are under the British, so they have a totally different school system. So not that you were left to fend for yourself, but you're going through it. It's like you see the struggle of the parents who want to be able to help, but there is that limitation. And over the years, resources have come up. You just have to be willing to be receptive to it. If you really look, there's a lot. I mean, there's people like you guys. There's a lot out there that's come over the years. But back in the day, or when you're 80s, 90s, it was a little more far and few. You had to really look. You had to have people who wanted to help you.
And even then, it's expensive. And so, how do you help a person that wants these resources but may not be able to fully afford those services?
Absolutely. And how do we get in contact with you? Because there's so many great things that Diakonia is offering. So how do the people at home get to start taking advantage?
Well, our biggest main contact right now would be our website. It would be www.diakoniamovement.org. And it has our phone number, it has our mailing address, it has all our links, all our social media. So that'll be the best way to contact our organization right now. We also have, a spot where if you want to help us volunteer, you can sign up the form, whether it's volunteer, whether it's for internship. We're looking for any way you want to help. We look for like-minded people that want other people to succeed by paying it forward. Because somewhere along the line, somebody paid it forward with myself and my wife. And we just want to be able to do that for somebody else.
Absolutely. I mean, that's so great. And that program for the fall, I think is going to be super exciting. No age limits? It's open to everybody?
For the children ESL, it starts from ages 8 to 12. And then we have the adult program, which basically starts from 21 all the way up to 65 or even older. We'll take you all.
That would be great, because there's a lot of people in the community And, you know, it's a blessing and a curse to come to a place like Brooklyn, because you
Right.
have every community here.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you come and you get pigeonholed in your own community,
Yeah.
and you don't get out of the language.
Mm-hmm.
And you forget that you come here to do better and integrate.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean you don't love your culture, but you have to step out of that.
Yes.
And a lot of my friends who might be, their grandparents speak Creole or Spanish, and they speak very little English, because they come and they stay in the community, they shop in the community, they do everything,
Right.
where they just don't even have to
It's
really
funny
do
because
that.
It ended up being almost like a bonus for me, because my dad spoke predominantly Spanish. So me being the firstborn, he was always speaking to me in Spanish. So that actually helped me down the line to be fluent
bilingual.
in Spanish. So it has its blessings as well.
Absolutely.
You know.
But sometimes, I'll be like, we gotta break them out of that, like that opportunity that your mother had to go speak. You got 30 days to go speak English.
See, but that story right there in itself tells you that when you really want something,
You'll get
you're
it.
gonna work for it. And she made it happen in 30 days, and that's also, we strive to have these resources also bring out a passion that maybe somebody didn't know they had.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes you might not know that you like to do something, but if you're presented with an opportunity, all of a sudden it's like, oh wow, I didn't know I could do this. So
Exactly.
that also, that self-sufficiency brings out a new passion, and then it creates opportunity that could actually change their life.
Well, Daryl-Marie and Elmin, thank you so much.
Oh,
You
thank
guys are
you.
the founders of the Diakonia Movement. Check them out online. It was a pleasure having you here.
Thank you for
And
having
we'll
us.
definitely have you guys back later on to get more updates on what's going on. And as always, if you have any questions or comments, you can send us an email at info@beyondfocusedmedia.com. I'm your host, Lydia Patel. Thank you so much for joining us. And we'll be back again next week. Same time, same place. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. Stay with us.
Beyond Focus TV show wants and needs your feedback. Did we blunder? Please let us know so we can improve. Was the show helpful to you? Drop us a note so we can share the success with our staff members. Is there something you think we could do better? We welcome new ideas and new approaches to old ideas. Do you have a great suggestion? Let us know and we'll work on it. If you would like to share your comments anonymously, please send us an email at info@beyondfocusedmedia.com. If you want to get in touch with the executive producer directly, send him an email at gene@beyondfocusedmedia.com. We really look forward to hearing from you.